Hello and welcome back to the part 2 of my Ashamane build for my Ashamane cosplay. I know I said part 2 was going to be continuing the bracers, but I didn't want to sand right this moment just because I have a lot of fabric laying around. So we're going to go ahead and start the shoulders. I don't get everything cut out in this part 2 here, so part 3 will also be the rest of the shoulder pieces. There are, I believe, either 24 or 26 pieces for each shoulder, and I cut them all out. So, yeah, so I cut my patterns, trace my patterns on the foam, and cut out my foam and pin things together. So I kind of do bits and pieces here and there, you'll see, just to make things easier. So each shoulder will have 3 basic shapes that will be layered together to give it some dimension, and then all those other tons of pieces are the little detailing pieces like we saw, similar to what we saw in the bracers. So yeah, I'm working with 6mm foam again and a box cutter to cut things out, and just I think I work with both the silver and either bronze or gold metallic Sharpies, so it makes it easier to see on black. So these are my base shapes, and my basic shapes, they're the backgrounds of each of those 3 shapes I was talking about. I forget if this is the left or right shoulder, but I do cut them both out in this video. And the next video, part 3 will be the continuation of this video because I didn't want to have an hour-long video again. So, did break it up. And this video is at 4 times speed. So, yeah, this is kind of trying to take my time with this stuff. So yeah, part 3 will also be working on the shoulders, and then hopefully part 4 will get into sanding things and gluing things again. We didn't get some gluing done on the bracers in part 1 of this video series of making Ashamane. I plan on recording pretty much the entire process of making the entire cosplay, and it's going to be a big one, so probably lots and lots of parts. If you don't know what Ashamane is, she is a wild god, a druid god from World of Warcraft. If you played Legion, in Legion, one of the artifact weapons for druids was the fangs of Ashamane, and if you looked into and checked out the lore on those, it told you about Ashamane, which if you did the quest to get those weapons, then you should know at least enough to know who Ashamane is. She's like a Black Panther god. And I'm not doing like a fursuit of Ashamane since she is a literal gigantic Black Panther. I'm doing a like humanoid or elf-like, night elf-like version of her. Kind of like how you see if my Okami is more of a humanoid version. Don't actually look like a white wolf for Okami. But yeah, so I am bringing a lot of elements from the character in game, and then using my own artistic liberties and creativity to do the rest of it. So yeah, here I believe I am marking out the second shoulder pieces, base pieces, and then I move on to cutting out all the like almost 50 little tiny pieces. I don't cut out all of the pieces for one of them. For one shoulder, I have the little pieces I need to cut out still, so that might be in the next video, or maybe I'll skip that part since I already did the similar pieces for the other shoulder in this video, or maybe it's in the next video, in either part 2 or part 3. I recorded it all at once. It's just a lot of time, a lot of filming, so I wanted to break it up because I don't like to have super long videos. Try to keep things to like 15 minutes max, but sometimes it doesn't happen. We did good for this video though. I think it's about 11 minutes. So I'm cutting out those base pieces. I believe that's the right shoulder. I think I started with the left, and then this is the right. And then we'll get the little pieces for the left side, and then you'll see me, probably not in this video though, do the other stuff. But yeah, so got the base pieces here. I think I'm gonna kind of line them up to see how it's gonna start looking all 3D instead of 2D on paper. I believe I said in part 1, but in case I didn't, if you really look at the character models in the game, these armor pieces I'm working on, both the bracers and shoulder pieces, are pretty 2D. Like, most of the dimensions and stuff does look like it was just painted on. There are a few little things that do stick out here and there, but overall, a lot of it just looks like shading to make it look like it's 3D. So there are a couple things, at least from the bracers. I think we're going to be pretty good on the shoulder pieces, but on the bracers, there were some areas where I had to kind of change it up because I'm not just painting on the little dimensions, I'm making the actual dimensions, and it just didn't make sense when I started trying to get a real pattern going. So there are a few things that are a little different from what's in the game, but, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. I'm keeping it as close as I can, though, for these armor pieces, at least for the bracers and shoulder pieces. The, I guess, like, hand armor, normally bracers would be hand and forearm, but because of how the armor is for this character in the game, it's separate. I'm doing something very different there, mostly because she has, you know, paws and I have hands, so we're gonna kind of do something pretty different there. Yeah, I have some interesting plans. I haven't actually wrote any of, I've like made notes but not actually drawn it out or anything, so that'll be kind of a surprise for you guys as you watch the series. And I do plan on adding the links for each video, like, in the description. So, like, in part 2, I'll link back to part 1, and then part 3 back to 2, and so on. Maybe I'll do them all. Maybe, like, part 3 will have part 1 and part 2 linked. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I do want to make it as easy as possible to find what you want, and then I'm trying to name things, name the videos, so you can kind of see what I'll be doing in the videos. So maybe you just want to follow the bracer stuff. I'll try to keep bracer in the video title if that's what you're going to follow. Or any of the other pieces. I'll be sewing. Some of the stuff will be sewing, some of it will be the foam. There'll be a variety of things. I do plan on doing boot covers. I'm still searching for a pair of booties that I want to work with. I am wanting a heel, so that's why I haven't found, because I'm wanting to find a comfortable one, but also a pretty one, so when you're working with heels, sometimes it's difficult, but I'll find one. I have a few choices narrowed down. Yes, okay, so here I've started cutting out the little detail pieces, and I'm starting to pin them on. This is the very bottom of the 3 big pieces, so I have them labeled top, middle, and bottom. So the bottom is the one that's on the very back, which will be touching my shoulder, and then they go forward from there. So I started with the bottom piece, mostly because the bottom piece doesn't have very many pieces to it at all. I think there's like maybe 3 or 4 pieces altogether. And then as we move forward towards the top, the more pieces there are. There will be LEDs in this. I don't think I showed, no, I definitely don't show that. That's like the last couple minutes that I recorded of this entire thing. So they'll be in part 3. I'll show a little bit there. So still have a lot to do with those. I was kind of like testing it out, but I didn't have the colors right or anything. So yeah, now I'm working on the middle piece. So yeah, that bottom piece was quick. So this is the middle piece, so they do kind of fit together like puzzle pieces. You'll see once I have them all pinned together, and then I start shoving the 3 pieces together to make it look like one. And I do have a little more cutting to do on these here and there before I have my shape quite the way I want it, and then we'll get to sanding and gluing and all that fun stuff later on. So, to keep myself organized with these, we're going to say 24 pieces per shoulder, I numbered each piece, and then where each piece goes, I'm numbering on the base piece, like on the foam itself. So I have numbers on my paper pattern, and then the numbers, at least some of them are numbers, so I can follow it easily on the foam pieces. So that way I'm not looking at all these random trapezoids and rectangles and such and looking and I'm like, which one goes where? This keeps me organized, especially when I do take long breaks. I haven't worked on this cosplay in about a week because this weekend is OhioCon, so I've been making nonstop. I'm actually still working on stuff tonight, and I head up in a few hours to go to the convention. Well, the area where the convention is. Convention's tomorrow. So yeah, that's why I haven't been working on Ashamane. I haven't had time to, and then all that fabric laying around, I don't want to get foam dust on from sanding. But yeah, next week I'm excited to get back to working on her. Lots of ideas for her. So yeah, I think I was just kind of pinning it in place, trying to get the line up right. It's a little easier to get these little pieces lined up right, unlike the bracer, which was round. Since this is flat, I don't have any extra work to do to try to get them to fit around a round surface. The very top piece later, I haven't done in the video yet, but it does have a slight edge in the middle. I can't think of the word, but like it'll be angled in the middle, so there might be a little bit of playing around to do with those detail pieces on there. We'll see how that goes. So I think we're still in that middle